Mr. Smith, I am confused. What is this 2048 everyone is talking about?
2048 is a formal agreement which states how we as people will treat and respect each other. This agreement is a type of social contract that we must abide by no matter what country we are from. As long as we are from planet Earth, these freedoms will apply to us. Not only person to person, but also the government will have to agree to them as well. If elected officials fail to follow this set agreement, then the court will order them to do so based on this enforceable International Bill of Rights. No matter which country we are from. As long as we are from planet Earth, these freedoms will apply to us. Not only person to person, but also the government will have to agree to them as well. If elected officials fail to follow this set agreement, then the court will order them to do so based on this enforceable International Bill of Rights. In the past, it was the government and people with strong political leadership who have written enforceable documents such as this. But now, that is about to change with 2048. You and I are the writers, decision makers, and activists. We are all contributing to this movement, and we all have a say, no matter our age, race, job, or education level.
So, what is the ultimate goal of the 2048 plan? What are we trying to get out of it?
That would be peace and prosperity. You see, there are 5 main freedoms that make up the 2048 plan.
Well, are you going to tell me what the 5 freedoms are, or make me look them up for myself?
Of course I will tell you. The 5 freedoms of the 2048 plan are freedom of speech, freedom of every person to worship, freedom from want, freedom from fear, and freedom for environment. Now, let me further explain to you what is involved within each freedom. Freedom of speech. We will be allowed to say whatever we want, whenever we want, wherever we want. We will be able not only to speak what we choose, but write what we choose as well. The next is freedom of every person to worship. We will be allowed to practice any religion we wish, as well as choose any god we wish to have a spiritual relationship with. If we decide we don't want religion in our life, we will be free to make the decision as well. The state and government will not be allowed to question or decide this for us. It is voluntary, in which each person will make that choice on their own. Then we have freedom from want. Education as well as health care will always be provided for us. We will never question who is going to pay for our doctors or schooling. Each person will be given the most they can in order to succeed in their lives. Everyone will start off with the same opportunity for education, and it is up to that person to decide how far they will take their education in order to become successful within their own lives. Next, freedom from fear. We will live in peace without worrying about wars on our home and even foreign soil. Wars will not exist, just as local crimes will not exist. And finally, freedom for environment. We must protect our environment, especially our natural resources.
This sounds a lot like when we learned about President Roosevelt and his 4 freedoms of speech, freedom of worship, freedom from want, freedom from fear, which were adopted into the Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
Excellent memory and wonderful comparison. 4 of the 5 freedoms did in fact originate with President Roosevelt and were later included in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. But, like I taught my students, it was a declaration, not an enforceable document in a court of law. Which is why 2048 will become an enforceable document, which will be valid in all courts in every country. In addition to that, we needed to add a 5th freedom, freedom for environment, because as time goes on our natural resources are being used and abused. We need to make changes and protect them for the future generations to be able to live in the world, as we have been able to do with fresh water and food amongst many other resources the world currently provides for us.
But Mr. Smith, why do I need to know this? I am only 14. I can't even drive yet. How does this apply to me? Shouldn't I be worrying about getting my license, becoming of age, and even being old enough to see an R-rated movie without my parents' permission?
See, this is where we need citizens your age. You are going to be 51 in 2048.
Wow, 51? That's so old.
Well, it isn't that old. I am 70. Still alive and moving.
Okay, well, what should I be doing? This all seems like a lot.
You have already overcome the first step. You are aware and are questioning. I suggest you begin your journey by going to the internet and researching about each of the 5 freedoms more closely. You can, if you want, come up with more ideas on what you think should be added to 2048. Write them down, and refer back to them to see if you still agree. Remember, you are a citizen of the world. Your input is just as important as anyone else's, no matter age. Also, December 10th is Human Rights Day. As a class, we are going to study human rights, what it means, and learn about different cultures. It is important to remember that human rights don't just apply to those living in America, they apply around the world. We, as a school, are also going to hold a contest on Human Rights Day. We will have each student, from each grade, write an essay or create any form of expression they feel necessary to show the importance of human rights. In turn, the winning student will receive a $10,000 scholarship for college.
Oh wow. I am going to go home and get started. I think I will create my project about 2048 and the importance of human rights, based on the 5 freedoms. I have a lot of work to do, but I am so excited. Thanks for talking with me, Mr. Smith.
Great.